The distance from Tucson, this is distance from Phoenix to Tucson is 120 miles. The distance from Phoenix to Flagstaff is about 21.7% longer. To the nearest mile, what is the distance from Phoenix to Flagstaff? So this problem might seem a bit confusing, but if we draw it out graphically, it will become clearer. So let's go ahead and make this point here the city of Phoenix. And then let's make this point over here the city of Tucson. So if we go and draw a line from Phoenix to Tucson, the problem tells us that the distance is 120 miles. The problem also tells us that the distance from Phoenix to Flagstaff is about 21.7% longer than this distance from Phoenix to Tucson. So if we draw Flagstaff out here, we can say that this extra distance is 21.7% of 120. Right? That would be this distance here. So we could say 120 times 0.217. So now if we wanted to find the distance from Phoenix to Flagstaff, what we could do is take the distance from Phoenix to Tucson, 120 miles, and add it to the distance from Tucson to Flagstaff, which is 120 times 0.217. So let's go ahead and try that. 120 plus 120 times 0.217. If I go ahead and punch that into a calculator, what I'll get is 120 times 0.217. Ooh, that's not correct. 120 times 0.217 is equal to 26.04. So let's go ahead and rewrite this equation. 120 plus 26.04 is equal to. Right? And now we're going to go ahead and add the 120 miles. So we'll get 146.04. And we want to round the answer to the nearest mile. So our 6 is the mile that we're considering on rounding up or down. And so we're going to look at the tens place. If the tens place is a number that is 5 or greater, then the 6 is going to round up to a 7. But since our tens place is a 0, and that's less than 5, we are going to leave the 6. Right? So our answer is 146 miles. And we could put a box around that. Okay. So the next problem we have here is to find the total price of the item. Now this is a prom question. A limo costs $85 to rent for 3 hours. Plus, you have to pay a 7% sales tax. What is the total cost to rent the limo for 6 hours? The total cost, right? So the total cost is going to equal the cost for the limo for 6 hours plus the sales tax. So we need to find the cost for the limo, and then we need to find how much sales tax they need to pay, and then we can calculate the total cost. So let's find the cost for the limo. To do that, we can go ahead and use the ratio that they give us here to define a proportion. So since the limo costs $85 for 3 hours, and we are trying to find out how much is this limo going to cost for 6 hours, right? We're going to put an X up here. $85 for 3 hours we're trying to find out how many dollars, X, is it going to cost for 6 hours. And we can use the means extremes property of proportions here. And we can multiply the extremes and set it equal to the means. So what we'll get is 85 times 6, which is 510, is equal to 3x. Then we're going to divide both sides by 3, and we'll get $170. So X, the total cost for the limo, is $170. Now we want to find the sales tax. And the sales tax, they say, is 7% of the cost. And so what we want to do here is go ahead and take our cost of $170 and multiply it by 7% to find the sales tax. So I'm going to put it right over here, 170, which is the total cost, and we're going to multiply that by 0.07 to find how much tax do we need to pay on 170. So I'll go ahead and multiply 170 by 0.07, and that's $11.90. So let's say $11.90. And these are in dollars, but we'll keep the label out for now. And so now to find the total cost, we're going to take the cost for the limo, the 170, and we're going to add the sales tax, which is $11.90. So let's put here, total cost is equal to 170 plus 11.90. And so that is going to equal to 181.90. I'm going to put a dollar sign there and box it. Alright, so we have our next problem, which says a computer game costs $49.95 plus 6.25 sales tax, 6.25% sales tax. What is the total cost of the game? So let's go ahead and write out an expression here. Total cost of the game is going to equal to the game cost plus the sales tax that he needs to pay. Okay. So we already know the game's cost. It's $49.95. What we need in order to find the total cost of the game is the sales tax. Right? So how do we figure out the sales tax? Well, we're going to take the $49.95 and we're going to multiply it by the sales tax. So we're going to multiply it by 0.0625. Okay. So let's go ahead and drop that into a calculator. 49.95 times 0.0625 is equal to 3.12. So say 3.12 is the amount of sales tax. Alright, so let's go ahead now and calculate the total cost. So we have total cost is equal to 49.95 plus the amount of sales tax, 3.12. So our total cost is going to be plus 49.95, $53.07. $53.07. And I'm going to put a box around that.